Hello, y'all. It's Dako, and we are gonna check out another video from the Fat Electrician. How to become an electrician. Trade shows are a scam. And today, Floki is joining me today because Floki is an electrician.
Hi guys.
Now, mind you, it's not an electrician in the US, but I thought it would be interesting to see someone who is used to uh non-American electric systems and the trade schools that you learn it. I want to get his opinion on it. We'll see. So
Yeah, get feedback.
yeah, let's find out. Let's see what's going on here.
It's always fun starting a YouTube video when you just know it's going to upset a lot of people.
Okay.
Today we're talking about how to become an electrician and why any community college or tech school or trade school that tries to get you to go to their program for 2 years to get a certificate or a diploma so that you can become an electrician is more or less a scam.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
And just so we're clear, I am a journeyman electrician. I have been for the past 5 years. The 5 years before that, I was a helper and an apprentice, so I've been doing this for 10 years. Since starting this whole YouTube thing I got going on, I've gotten thousands of emails from high school kids that want to figure out how to become an electrician and veterans that are leaving the military that want to transition over into the electrical field. And this is everything I tell them and everything I wish somebody told me when I was first trying to figure out how to become an electrician. Because if you
Now, for you, what did you do to become an electrician? Because from this, it sounds like he was an apprentice, and then he moved on from being an apprentice.
Yeah, so generally you'd go through an apprenticeship, which would be a mixture of practical skill tests and theoretical skill tests, spanning over several years. Back in my home country, South Africa, we have an apprenticeship that lasts 5 years. Now, there's several routes you can take. You can either do what the route I took is I went into apprenticeship where I'd work 5 years. I studied at night after working hours, so I'd work the whole day from 8 until 4, and then I'd be in college from 6 until 10 p.m.
Damn.
Get home, study for another hour and a half, go to bed, wake up again, and go to work.
And do it all over again.
Do it all over again for 5 years. And then every couple of months, you'd go to the actual college to do your practical tests. Or the trade college. Well, we would have a place called the ECA, Electrical Contractors Association, where you do your practical tests, and then you'd go to an actual college to do your theoretical tests. And what I find interesting, and I'm wondering if he's going to touch on it or if it's the same in the US, is what I found is when I first entered the field is and in Ireland, it seems to be kind of similar. It always seems difficult to get anyone to answer you as to exactly what you need to study to actually become an electrician. It's like a state secret or something that you kind of have to figure out along the way and kind of beg people to kind of tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So that I found interesting.
I think that's kind of similar for a lot of trades, not just for electrician though.
Yeah. But there's also different routes. So for instance, I had the option, but I always felt like practical experience was more important. So what I could have also done, and what seems to be more prominent in Ireland, is where you work for a company as an apprentice, and then instead of studying part-time after hours, you stop your practical apprenticeship and you go for a theoretical course for 3 months. Where you're not on the job at all, and you're just doing theory. Now, it's much easier to study and pass tests like that, but you're missing out on all that practical experience, and it's still the same time period that you give in, so you actually come out of that with less practical on-hand experience.
I'm sorry, for me, on my trade, when it comes to like IT, I am a firm believer that actual experience trumps book learning.
Theoretical experience.
100%. Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is here in Ireland, it's very strange. They don't do 5 years, they do 4 years of apprenticeships, where South Africa is 5 years. Now, South Africa used to be 3 years, but they upped it to 5. And here in Ireland, they only have the option of going and studying every couple of months. So after the 4 years, they've only spent, I'd say, about 2 years hands-on. And the rest is spent in theory. And the scary thing is it shows, because the guys that finish and qualify still don't have a lack in their knowledge on things that I would consider you need a basic. It would be considered basic knowledge for someone that is qualified.
Yeah.
I can't get into that, but that will be like flying over most people's heads. But it would be different switches like your contactors and relays. They just don't understand how those things actually work. They just know how
Yeah.
to connect the wires because someone showed them how to connect the wires like a parrot. But they don't understand the actual mechanism and how it works, which can become a challenge when they're asked to do something a bit more complex with the system.
Okay, well, let's see what he says. Let's see what's going on
Let's
here.
go for it.
How to become an electrician. Because if you get on the internet, them are wrong. How to become an electrician, it's very confusing. There's like 1,000 different answers. Most of them are wrong, and half of them are trying to sell you something that you need to pay thousands of dollars to get.
Yeah, no.
And just so we're clear, I have no horse in this race, right? We're gonna play an ad here in a second. That's how I make my money. Once that ad plays, I've made all the money I'm gonna make off this video. Unlike most, if not all the other YouTube videos on this topic, I am not an instructor at a school that I'm trying to get you to go to. I don't have an online course that I've made to teach you how to do this job. I don't have anything to sell you. I'm gonna,
dude, this is a sad, you want to know, it's like I said before, this seems very familiar for IT as well. This is so,
Yeah, it sucks.
I think it's I think it's going to be the same thing for just general trades and for all of them, in truth.
Well, to be honest, I was very recently looking into just doing some kind of course on C#, just because that's what interests me. And the amount of courses out there and it doesn't tell you exactly what you're studying or where to start. It's the same kind of thing. So even for a programming language like C#, it's just people trying to sell you stuff with actually telling you what you're buying or where you should start. So yeah, I think it's everywhere.
Man. Yeah, I think for our, what you want to call it, a blue collar trade, it's very similar down the board.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what's going
to sell you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So let's play this ad so I can make my money, and then I'll tell you everything.
Nicholas.
Yes.
You've been so good this year. You should go buy yourself something nice.
These magic beans.
Yes.
I love this guy's ads.
I do.
Out there.
Something to feed the whole family.
You want me to go buy a grill for Father's Day with magic beans so I can cook you food?
Yes.
Nice.
6.5 hours later.
Careful.
What the frick? He brought a nuke.
I don't give a shit.
How is this?
You told me to get something for Father's Day.
Is this
A
thing gonna
nuke?
cook any meat?
It'll cook something.
It'll cook
All right, here's the
something.
deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell. Okay, there's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it. Okay, it's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either going to feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money.
I wonder if
since
that
their
bomb
service
was
is
a prop
free,
that he specially
or they're
brought
gonna
in
collect your
just for this
personal
ad,
information
or if it's
and
something
sell
that
it
he
to
has
data
lying
brokers on the
around.
internet, and then they're going
don't
to turn
know.
around and sell it to whoever buys it. And next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers, and if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, here's the deal. When people say I want to be an electrician, what they're actually saying is I want to be a journeyman or a master electrician. The only way to do that is to graduate from an apprenticeship program and then take the state exam and pass it. At that point, you become a journeyman. Then, typically after you've worked as of 1 year for a journeyman, you are eligible to go and take another state exam that's harder to get your master's license.
Hey, pause right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is interesting because it is different in different countries, once again. Now, I don't know yet, and I don't know if he's going to go into it, what a master electrician is in the United States. We have the master electrician title in South Africa. I'm not a master electrician. I'm what we would call a wireman, which is the level below master.
Okay.
And we have 3 levels. We have your single phase electrician, which is just don't even bother. Then you have the wireman that I am. And then your next level is master electrician.
I think that's technically the same thing for journeyman then, because that's normally what a journeyman is. It's below
I would
master.
say journeyman is journeyman would probably be my level, but once again it depends because and the reason I didn't become a master, I was considering it. A master electrician is another 2 years of study, so I would have had to have studied the same amount of years as a doctor to get my master's. And all that it allows you to do is work on hospitals, refineries, and certain like high-end infrastructure.
Huh.
And generally, the master electricians, they would train up an apprentice to replace them. So unless you knew the right person and apprenticed under a master, it would kind of be a dead-end study for extra 2 years and a lot more money. So I'm wondering if your master title also allows you into those restrictive fields or not. Whereas in Ireland, they don't have that. They just have a REC, which is a registered electrical contractor, which is basically the level I am now. Or no, not really, because they have, it's really weird here. They have what's REC, which is an electrician, qualified electrician, but that qualified electrician doesn't have the rights to sign off on work. For that, you need to take it one step further, which is a QC, which is qualified certifier. And as far as I understand, that's the highest level in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, which would basically be my level, because I am technically a qualified certifier back in South Africa. As soon as I got my wireman's license, I was qualified to sign off and have signed off on a lot of jobs. And signing off means you take tests like your PSC, which is a respective short circuit current test, and your loop tests, and your polarity tests, and your trip time tests, and all of that stuff on the system to make sure that all the components are working correctly, your cable sizes are right and can handle the loads, that your earthing is within margins to protect, and all of that stuff. And you'd fill all of that in and say that everything's been installed up to code. That's basically what a certifier is, or a certificate is.
I'm actually surprised they don't have that kind of apprentice master kind of system over there.
I'm also, because you'd think that you'd want like a higher level of specialization on like hospitals and such.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, let's see.
Your master's license. That's it. That's everything. Anything outside of that is unnecessary and probably a waste of money. There is no trade school or college program that you can go to for 2 years and get a diploma or a certificate and be qualified to take the state journeyman's exam. It's not allowed. This varies slightly from state to state, but I'm going to talk about the state of Iowa. It's very similar everywhere else. To graduate an apprenticeship program, you have to have 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, meaning you just have to go to work as an electrician's apprentice for 8,000 hours, which is about 4 years of working 40 hours a week. In addition to that, you need 800 hours of classroom time, and you have to pass a bunch of tests. Now, that classroom time varies from apprenticeship program to apprenticeship program, but typically it's either going to be night classes a couple nights a week for the 4 years, or in my particular case, my boss would just give us a week off and we would go to this school and we would have classes for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and we did that 4 or 5 times a year for the 4 years that I was in. Those classes are paid for by the contractor. If you're in a union apprenticeship, the union has their own schools, and if you're in a non-union apprenticeship, typically the state runs an apprenticeship program. Your contractor pays the state to be able to send you to the school. People argue and get in a big pissing match about which one's better. At the end of the day, they both
that's
give
normal.
You the exact same journeyman's
That's freaking
license.
normal.
Yeah.
But if you go to college first,
the 8,000 hours I just worked out while he was talking there works out to 2.73 years, but that's not including weekends deducted from that. So I'd say it's about 2.5 years of on-board experience, which I think personally is a bit low.
Well, he was saying it was 4 years when he was talking about.
Yeah, it's 4 years, but then it would maybe be a system like I said, where you'd go to college for 6 months or 3 months, which I'd prefer it more if electrician came out with at least 3, maybe 4 years on-hand experience. I know most places like the options there, but just like I said, the gap in knowledge, like I wouldn't consider anyone having enough experience after 2.5 years to trust them because generally when you get qualified, you are now in a position where you train other people up and you need to understand the dangers of the job and the intricacies. And to put that kind of responsibility on someone that essentially just has 2.5 years experience hands-on is a bit dangerous, because remember, this is a field where you're working with very dangerous components.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. And while it's fine for getting someone to trust themselves with that is fine, but I don't want someone being in a position where you're trusting yourself and having to trust a team at the same time until you have an adequate amount of experience.
I don't know. I mean, from the sound of it, it sounded like he said it was 4 years. I don't know the hours on it.
He said 8,000 hours hands-on experience, which would mean on the job. experience. So that's just the comment I have on that. It's a personal thing. I don't know. A lot of countries seem to do it that way. Like I said, my country seemed to do it that way as well. The option was there, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just if I personally had it my way, I would have a little bit more.
No, that's fair.
hands-on.
It's fair because yes, it is. Look, I have the bare minimum of knowledge for handling electricity because I have to, because I'm handling electronic devices, so I have to have some. So no, I get it, and I fear and respect electricity.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the more experience you get, the better, in my opinion, on something like that, for sure.
Exactly.
Because not only it's not that you can just kill yourself with it, but you could also cause problems that will hurt other people if you do it wrong.
Exactly.
So,
you're responsible for a lot of lives. Whether it's electrocution, fire, there's a lot of dangers that
Exactly.
come with the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And I get it. I don't know. If he was saying just 4 years in general for hands-on experience, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, that I'd be happy with. But he mentioned 8,000 hours hands-on is a requirement. And well, that's the minimum requirement. I hope it's not what they aim for.
Yeah. It's probably, once again, it is probably going to be different state to state, because that is it is different. I know that for a lot of the states, sure. Let's see.
You can get all the classroom stuff out of the way. Almost always, no, that's not true.
What do you
At the end of the day, they both get you the exact same journeyman's license. But if you go to college first, you can get all the classroom stuff out of the way. Almost always, no, that's not true. I think there's 2 or 3 states in the country where if you have a 2-year electrical diploma or certificate or whatever, you're allowed to not have to do the classroom portion of your apprenticeship, but you still have to do the 8,000 hours of work, meaning you're still going to be an apprentice for 4 years. And if you come in with that diploma or certificate or whatever the fuck it is, guess how much more money they're going to pay you as a first-year apprentice? 99 times out of 100, fucking nothing, okay? I went through this apprenticeship program with plenty of people that did this. We made the same exact amount of money. It does nothing.
My offer is this. Nothing.
And that is why it's kind of a scam, right?
As a first and a second year electrician, you earn nothing. It's only
I don't doubt it.
year that it's in your third year that you'll start earning some sort of semblance of an actual salary, and only in your 4th or 5th year will you start earning actually money that you can kind of live off of. And once you qualify, then you get into the bucks.
It's definitely something that you would want to do when you're young, then.
Yes. I have known some guys, and there's actually one of my colleagues that decided to become an electrician late on in their life. He's 33 now, and he qualified last year, so he would have been in his late 20s. But obviously, he had a support system that could carry him through it. I would not advise it if you're just supporting yourself.
Yeah, no.
If it's later on in life. Or unless you have some savings to carry.
Yeah, true. Like, because he was also saying, freaking veterans were getting out of the army, getting out of the military, and wanting to get into becoming an electrician. At that point, they should hopefully have some kind of savings, and then they'll have the benefits from leaving the military, so they'll still get something instead of relying on getting nothing or getting peanuts from being an apprentice.
Well, here's always an option for people, especially if they're in financial difficulty. The military, at least as far as I understand, all the places I've been, but I could imagine it being the same in all countries. The military does offer to train people to be electricians.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
So that's a route that if people are struggling for money and they are late on their lives to take is you have to join the military, unfortunately, for that, but they will give you free housing and free training and free food, and that offsets the very low salary you'd earn in the beginning. Downside, you're in the military.
Yeah, true. All right, let's see. Let's go on.
When you go to, I don't know, nursing school, you graduate nursing school, you're automatically allowed to go take the state exam and get your RN license. You can't do that with an electrician. You go and you get their diploma that says you know what the fuck you're doing. Cool. You're still going to go be an apprentice for 4 years, and you paid for 2 years of schooling when your contractor would have paid for it for you. And that's if you're in one of the 3 states that allows that. Almost all the states still require you to go through the 800 hours of the apprenticeship classroom time. So you can literally actually go to college for 2 years, pay a bunch of money, get your little diploma, congratulations, you're still sitting through 800 hours of classroom time for your apprenticeship. And anybody that says otherwise either A, fell for the scam and doesn't want to admit it, or B, they have some financial incentive like they're an instructor at one of these schools and they want to keep their own gravy train running in so they don't have to go back and work in the field and they can sit in their nice office with air conditioning all day long. I'm going to say it again and slower so it really sinks in. Going to college to become an electrician is not necessary in any of the 50 states in the United States of America, and very, very rarely is it even beneficial. To put this into perspective, if we take two 18-year-old high school kids that just graduated, one of them chooses to go into a 2-year community college program to be an electrician, and the other one just calls every contractor in town, asks for a job as a helper, and starts working the next day. What's going to end up happening is that helper within 6 months to a year is going to be offered the opportunity to join the apprenticeship program, and he's going to start a year before the other guy. Assuming everything goes well, he is then going to turn out, become a journeyman electrician a year before the other guy, make more money faster, and not have $12,000 of student debt to pay off because he got a 2-year diploma. But that guy with the 2-year diploma is...
On that one, it's quite interesting because there is some kind of basically what I would advise. The United States sounds like it is similar to Ireland, where the best way to do it is just applying for a job as an apprentice.
Yeah, just apply
to a company, and then the company knows everything and sets up the system, enrolls you to the right places, and everything is paid for you through your apprenticeship program, which the company does get kickback from the government. So it's kind of incentive for them on a skills training thing. Whereas in South Africa, it worked a bit different, where I joined a company, I did my apprenticeship, and the practical was covered by the company and where they enrolled me, but the theory I had to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
And that's where I had a headache, and it would have been a lot better if it was a system like Ireland or the United States, where all of that kind of red tape is just sorted out by the actual apprenticeship program.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It's just, like you're saying, it is just a scam. The whole thing is just a scam for them. They just found a loop, a way to make some money, which is kind of sad.
They approach people like, oh, do this, it's going to help you out in the long run. No, it's just a money-making scheme, because the apprenticeship program should, at least in the United States and in Ireland, take care of all of that for you. You should just apply for a job and worry on learning as fast as you can from your mentors.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And you know what? It's just kind of, because the thing, if you ask a normal person, your average person, they will figure that going to school first is the better way to do it, because that's just the way that we've always been raised on it.
It sounds logical, but it's not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Let's see. What's next?
He got a 2-year diploma. But that guy with the 2-year diploma is more likely to get hired as an apprentice in the first place. Maybe, but also not really. I know contractors that actively avoid hiring people that go through these programs because these programs tell these kids, oh, as soon as you graduate our program, you're going to be hired as a journeyman electrician and you're going to be making $35 an hour or $100,000 a year or whatever. And it's not true. So then they show up to work, they have a bad attitude, and they already think they know everything. They actively avoid hiring these people for that reason. Because again, in reality, these programs count for nothing. You can graduate this program. Congratulations. Great job. I hope you had fun. Hope it was worth it. You're still getting hired as a first-year apprentice, making first-year apprentice wages, period, end of story, 99 times out of 100. How do I know that? A, I'm a journeyman electrician. B, I was actually one of the guys in charge of hiring new apprentices, and I cannot tell you the number of times I have had kids come in that had some certificate or diploma from a college that thought that made them a journeyman electrician. So when they come in and I tell them, no, you're not a journeyman electrician, you're not qualified to make $60 an hour and run your own job sites, they're extremely either disheartened or pissed off, and I don't blame them, because they just spent 2 years of their life and a bunch of money getting told they're going to have a job paying $60 an hour, and in reality, they qualify for a job that pays them somewhere between $18 and $22 an hour as an entry-level apprentice. And in 47 out of the 50 states, you're still going to have to go to 800 hours of classroom training. Maybe you'll be relearning some stuff that you already learned at college, but that brings into question, why did you go off to college to learn it and pay money when you could have just learned it for free? Oh yeah, well, if you get that 2-year diploma.
Those rates sound fantastic, just by the way. You gotta say that paying the electricians very well. $18 an hour for a first-year apprentice. God, you'd be rolling in it.
I have no clue. Look,
apprentices-
I have no clue if that is true or not, but yeah, that's pretty good.
It sounds about double of what it's supposed to be. I can disclose apprentices here in Ireland get paid €8. Now, a euro is pretty much the same value as a dollar. It's slightly stronger than the dollar, but not enough to justify that the dollar should be double the value.
No.
So €8, so you're looking at about $9 an hour.
Yeah, that's kind of $9 is actually what I was expecting.
Yeah,
and that is not enough for just a single person living trying to survive alone. Exactly. That won't work.
So do not go in with. I can't comment on the United States, but it sounds very like. What I can say is, if you find the right place, like data centers, they will pay a higher rate just because they're corporate and they have the money for it. So maybe he's going on the absolute high end of it, but do not count on that. It's extremely difficult. I'd take your shot. Maybe you end up in that if you're an aspiring electrician or looking into the electrician field. Try and get into data centers. Your knowledge that you're going to learn there is going to be very limited, but your pay is going to be well. It's going to be a nice, clean environment because in general, electrician jobs, it's grueling, backbreaking work in very dirty environments, whereas data centers tend to be more clean and the glammed up side of the field. But at the same time, you're only learning what they have there, not anything else. So you kind of bottleneck yourself as well. On the note of people studying and then coming in with attitudes and grandiose ideas of salary and stuff, 100% can confirm.
Oh yeah, I can confirm that too. The same thing for IT, 100%. Because look, there's a lot of knowledge you have to study for on IT, and the thing is, sadly, the majority of it really isn't going to be needed, or it's just. And then the stuff that is going to be needed, some of it isn't even going to be taught. Some of it's just not going to have been taught, and the only way you're going to get it is freaking hands-on experience.
To put it this way, Dako knows this, but. In South Africa, I ran my own company for about 12 years. And even as a company owner that had to calculate cable run sizes, basically all the specs for the jobs, make sure I'm putting in all the predictive devices correctly, all the resistances are good and everything's above board. Even with all that responsibility, which most electricians will not touch unless they're a company owner. With all of that, 90% of the theory I studied was never used.
Yep. It's sad, but it's the truth.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
All right, let's go.
Well, if you get that 2-year diploma, it can help you advance quicker and make more money down the line when you want to get promotions. Again, no, not true. That's some bullshit they tell you at these schools to get you to spend money on their program, okay? Having a journeyman electrician's license is like the pinnacle of being a journeyman. Everything below that doesn't matter once you have that, okay? Saying that you're going to get preferential treatment because you have a certificate or something from a community college while also having a journeyman electrician's license is like saying if they're hiring 2 ER trauma doctors, they're both board certified ER trauma doctors with experience, but one of them also took a CPR class and knows how to do CPR, so we're gonna hire that one and give him the promotion. Not true. They're both fucking trauma doctors. They both know how to do fucking CPR, okay? Nobody gives a shit. You think when some company's hiring a master mechanic to run their auto shop and they have 2 master mechanics with experience that are applying, but one of them has a fucking certificate from Jiffy Lube that says he knows how to change oil, you think that's gonna tip the scales in his favor? No, they're both master mechanics. They know how to change fucking oil. You're just one of those crazy anti-college people.
What?
No, I'm not. I've been to college. I have multiple college degrees. I'm not anti-college if it's something you need to go to college for. What I am anti is telling these kids that they're going to be making $70 an hour and they're going to be a qualified journeyman so that you can milk money out of them and waste their fucking time. That's what I'm against. Well, if you get your diploma first, you at least won't have to be the new guy and do all the shitty work. Look at me.
You're still the new guy. You're still the new guy. You're still doing the shitty work.
Dude, I don't know who would. That is fucking hilarious.
And guess what? As a journeyman as they stay there, you still do the shitty work. Yes, you have apprentices to sometimes send in, but you crawl in there with them. It does. You don't stop doing that. You just have a couple of hands that you can send in with you. That's it. That never stops.
No, and it's once again same thing for IT as well. It's the same thing. If you're the new guy or the new girl, they're gonna give you the shitty jobs.
Yeah, and only thing that changes when you're journeyman is me as the journeyman has to crawl in after you and make sure I fix whatever the little new guy has messed up. So I need to double do your work for you.
Shitty work is how you learn the basics, which makes it possible for you to not burn down the building. Exactly. Oh God! You ever told them if a school actually said that? I'm sorry, they're lying. That is 100% bull. You're not gonna do the grunt work. No, you were still doing the grunt work because you're the new guy. It doesn't matter what certificates you may have.
Anti-college people. No, I'm not. I've been to college. I have multiple colleges telling these kids that they're going to be making $70 an hour and they're going to be a qualified journeyman so that you can milk money out of them and waste their fucking time. That's what I'm against. Well, if you get your diploma first, you at least won't have to be the new guy and do all the shitty work. Look at me. Bullshit. When you are the new guy, you will be the fucking new guy, okay? I don't care what diploma or certificate you have. You are gonna be the guy that's digging the ditches. You are gonna be the guy whose job it is to hold the flashlight and shut the fuck up for the first couple years you are an apprentice electrician. That's just how this goes.
Left you a little gift in there. Not too hard, not too soft. Perfect.
And that's not even specific to being an electrician or the trades in general. That's pretty much every career path on the planet. Go watch fucking Scrubs or Grey's Anatomy or any of these other medical shows. All the new doctors have to do the scut work, all the work that none of the more experienced doctors want to do. They have to go do it, okay? This is every job on the planet. There is no school or college you can go to that's gonna let you speed run being the new guy, so you might as well get over that right now. And for the love of God, if you went to one of these schools and got one of these diplomas or certificates, do yourself and everyone else a favor. Do not show up your first day of work thinking that any work is beneath you. Because at best, you're gonna get bullied, and at worst, everybody's gonna absolutely hate you. You are gonna get teamed up with some old journeyman that's been doing this for 30 years. He grew up in a house that didn't even have electricity, and when he became an electrician, it was literally going around town lighting the fucking light poles in his town, okay? He's been an electrician since electricity became mainstream. And he is gonna walk you over to a control cabinet that's got 12,000 wire terminations in it, open it up, look at you and say, okay, college boy, fucking show me what's up. And you're gonna be standing there like, fuck, I don't know anything.
You know what all those wires do?
Yeah, of course. Yellow, see? The sun is yellow, it heats the ground. That's how they name stuff.
Bang.
And you know what? That's completely okay because you are a first-year apprentice. You just have to understand that you don't know anything so that you can learn. So hopefully by now you understand that if you want to be an electrician, you do not need to go to some college program for 2 years to get that diploma. So the next question is, how the fuck do you get into an apprenticeship? This is gonna sound like some boomer back in my day bullshit, but it's literally what I did 10 years ago. If you decide you want to be an electrician, call every contractor in town, ask for a job as a helper, say you'd like to work your way into being an apprentice. You'll probably have a job by the end of today, if not by the end of the week. And if you could show up on time, have a good attitude, and not be completely stupid, you will have a leg up in the hiring process when that apprenticeship slot opens up, because the company already knows you. They know you can show up on time. They know you work hard. They probably already like you. You're already one of the boys. In that situation, do you think your boss, when he's picking his next apprentice, is going to pick some dude that came from a community college that has expectations that he can't meet as an employer? Or do you think he's just going to give it to the guy that he already knows and trusts? He gives it to the guy he already knows and trusts. I'll give you the answer. The next question I get asked every single time, is this true for all other trade schools? I don't want to be an electrician. I want to be a welder.
Okay, so one thing I want to add onto there, and I'm once again not familiar with the way the United States works, but basically all countries will have and maybe even states will have a regulatory board that the electrical companies are adherent to, that kind of reinforce the laws and so on. And if you can find out who your state or country's electrical board is, you can also contact them and ask about apprenticeship programs, because a lot of the times the companies will be calling them, asking if they have any apprentice candidates. If you're having trouble calling companies and finding a position, that could be another way of going about it, is just approaching the electrical board directly. Now, when I say electrical board, I don't mean your main electrical supplier. I mean the regulating body.
Yeah, that one I don't know about. I'm not sure if there is anything
It's just another
like
route
that.
you can try out. There will definitely be something like that because there is a board that holds companies electrical companies accountable to the laws of the land.
Yeah.
And they also generally are the ones that fund and run the apprenticeship programs.
No, let's see. All right.
I don't want to be an electrician. I want to be a welder or a plumber or whatever the fuck. An honest answer, I don't know. I'm not a journeyman in all other trades, so I can't tell you. My best piece of advice would be to get a hold of a journeyman that is in that trade and ask them. They'll give you a really good idea. How do you get a hold of one of these journeymen? Super simple. If you want to be a plumber, look up plumbing shops in your area, find the one that's got good reviews, call them and say, hey, I'm a senior in high school and I'm doing a high school project because I think I want to be a plumber. Would it be possible for me to interview one of your best journeymen or best foremen or best superintendents for 5 minutes so I could ask them some questions? They will almost guaranteed help you out, get you in contact with that person, and then you can have that conversation. It's that simple. Now, that being said, all the trades kind of work with each other. I've worked with plumbers, HVAC guys, welders. I've worked around and with everybody. Generally speaking, from what I've gathered, from what I've heard, again, not gospel, just what I've heard from other people, heating and cooling and HVAC are both great. You should probably go to college for them. I've heard that those programs can help you a ton. Same thing goes for automotive. Same thing goes for like tool and die and machining. Welding and plumbing, it's kind of what you want to do because those are very broad career paths. If you want to be like a residential plumber that's going and doing water lines and putting toilets in houses, school can help you with that. If you want to be a welder like in a factory on an assembly line, welding school can absolutely help you with that. But if you want to be the plumber, welder, pipe fitter dude that's making like $1,000 per diem and $150 an hour because he's got the special skills to do these high pressure welds and all this other crazy shit, the schools are not really going to help you with that. And I know this because my best friend, the best man in my wedding, is that guy. He is the one that gets paid a bunch of money per diem and gets paid a ton of money per hour and has to travel to go do specialty welds that only he's certified to do, and not many people can do what he does. And he went to one of these fancy welding schools right out of high school. He went to, I believe it's considered one of the top 2 welding schools in the entire country on the other side of the country from where he lived. He moved out there for 2 years, spent 40-50 grand to go to this school, and he was told he was going to be hot shit. He was going to get a job paying $50 to $70 an hour right out of the gate. Came back home. The only people that would hire him were willing to pay him $18 an hour to do welds on a factory line. He worked that job for a couple of years, and then he decided he was going to apply to be an apprentice with the plumbing union so that he could get his journeyman's license. And guess what? He got hired as a first-year apprentice. Guess how much money he made? First-year apprentice pay, the same exact amount of money that people with literally no experience that just got out of high school were also making. He said that there was absolutely nothing he learned at this tech school that was not covered by his apprenticeship over the course of that 4 years. And if he could go back and do it all over again, he would have just joined the apprenticeship right out of high school, saved himself $40,000-$50,000 and 4 years of his time. But that's anecdotal evidence. I am not a journeyman welder or pipe fitter or plumber. I would double check with somebody that is. Now, the next question you're going to ask, because this also gets very confusing, is should I be union or non-union electrician? Full transparency, I was a union electrician my entire career. Why did I end up going that route? Very simply because they were the first company that hired me and they happened to be union. And this is going to piss off everybody because people have very, very strong opinions about whether or not you should or shouldn't be union. Whatever, you can have those opinions. I'm speaking to the 18-year-old kid that doesn't know anything. Deciding that right now is not like a life-altering fate decision, okay? I've met people that started in the non-union apprenticeship, got mad at their contractor, quit, and then joined the union apprenticeship and went on to become union journeymen. I know people that have flunked out of the union apprenticeship program, not because they were stupid or dumb or couldn't hack it, but because they had some own personal life issues going on and they ended up losing their job in the union. They went to a non-union shop, continued their apprenticeship, and they became a non-union journeyman. I've met shitty union electricians that I wouldn't trust to wire my house, and I've met union electricians that I've seen frequently have to correct electrical engineers, and they're absolutely brilliant, and I can say the same exact thing about non-union shops. Being union or non-union is not going to be the determining factor on whether or not you're going to be a good electrician. You are that determining factor.
You talking to me?
You talking to me?
Yeah, so on that note, I don't know what union and non-union is in the United States. Over here and back home in South Africa, it's basically just a protection thing. And in South Africa, at least, you are required to belong to a union. The government...
It should be... I think it's going to be the same thing. It's just a protection thing. Yeah. But and as far as I know, you can just... You don't have to be. But I don't know.
with my very limited knowledge of the United States, if it operates the same as the two countries I've been in, I would say just for the protection, union, because it basically what unions afford you is legal representation, fair wages, and all that stuff, where there are some people that will take advantages of apprentices, not do the right paperwork for the programs if it's a bit of a dodgy company, where there are a lot of those around, whereas a union will hold them accountable and you don't have to fork out your own money. You just call your union and tell them, I think I'm being taken advantage of, and the companies will be forced to basically take care of you.
Yeah.
So that's, if the United States unions work the same way, and if that's a system, I would, for those reasons alone, say union, because at least you're protected.
Yeah, it depends on the state, it depends on the union. Yeah. No, as far as I understand,
I don't
unions
know
are the
about
same
the
way.
United States, so yeah, that's that. Yeah.
The only caveat I'll throw in is if you join the union apprenticeship with a union contractor, it's going to be squared away. You're going to have a very clear path of how to get your journeyman's license. And you will have the same exact thing with, I hope, the majority and the significant amount of non-union shops. However, because non-union shops are less regulated, there is the potential for some contractors to be shitty and not get you the right training with the state accredited program in a timely fashion. So if you're going non-union, which is completely fine, just make sure it's with a good non-union contractor that's going to get you going to the actual state accredited apprenticeship classes. Again, full transparency, I didn't want to make this video. It's not my normal jam. It's not some funny internet business, and it's not some history with a war hero or whatever. That's usually what I do here on YouTube. But I did want to answer these kids' questions. So originally, I just made a social media post over on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to call it, explaining this, and the amount of backlash I got from people that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about was insane. So we're just going to go over and read some of the tweets, and we'll actually see how correct they are. Again, just for context, my tweet essentially said that trade schools to become an electrician are essentially a scam because they're not required in any of the 50 states, and you can just get paid while you learn and have your contractor pay for your actual in-classroom experience, and you should just attempt to do that instead. And here are some of the comments that I received. Quote, fuck basic training, let's just grab a rifle and head off to war.
What?
No,
If you want to have the military training, yeah, sure thing, go that way.
Apprenticeship is the basic training. Do you understand that? Going to
yeah, exactly. The apprenticeship is the basic training.
Tech school for 2 years before entering your apprenticeship is akin to going to a community college for 2 years to get a certificate or diploma in being a soldier before you ship off to basic training. It's fucking dumb and unneeded. From Anonymous, buddy, it's not about what you learn. If two people apply for a job and one can show a degree and the other can't, guess who gets the job? You live in a country where people are showing college degrees to flip burgers at fucking McDonald's. Saying it's not about what you learn in reference to going to college to get an education is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And this attitude of, it doesn't matter if I learn anything as long as I've got a piece of paper that says I know something, is the reason that nobody gives a fuck about college degrees in the trades in the first place. Congratulations, you're part of the problem.
I want to say something. Okay.
Yeah.
My first year out of college, I had certificates. I had my nice little resume showing my certificates, showing how many hours and blah, blah, blah. They didn't want to hire me because I had zero hands-on experience.
Yeah. That's one of those catch-22s that you find a lot of the times is we'll hire you. You need experience to hire you, but you need to be hired to have experience.
Yep.
You run into a lot of that. So
I was so pissed, dude. I was what, 19, I think? 19, 20? I don't remember. It was so long ago. I got out and they was like, no, I mean, yeah, they were like, oh, that's all the certificates are nice. It's all very nice. It's all good. But you have no experience, so we can't hire you. Well, how am I going to get experience if I can't get freaking hired? And they won't. Oh, man. Oh.
It's a horrible situation. Yeah,
it is. It's really dumb. It's really dumb. Look, I do agree that, look, for IT, you do want to have, theory and whatnot, because there is no apprenticeship program for IT. That's just not how IT is handled.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like I said, they don't want to hire you if you don't have any hands-on experience anyway. So it's kind of screwed. There is no apprenticeship program. You can't just you can apply, but then they probably won't hire you because if you don't have any certificates, then they void the warranty for the machines that you work on.
Yeah,
So
what you basically have to do in that situation, you need to find a very small company, grassroots company, that's willing to just take someone on to help them out and work there for a year or two. And then when you leave, they gloss the shit out of your CV to make it look like you've done it. Glamorize everything you did at that company.
Yeah, it's really sad. Look, I finally found. I did end up, of course, finding a company that would take the quote unquote risk with someone that doesn't have any experience. And then guess what? I got experience.
But was that a big company or a small company?
That was a smaller one.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get it. You go to smaller companies that are willing to hire someone for very low wages that train you along the way.
Yep. It's just, oh man, it is so.
I'm an idiot. You're an idiot.
The problem with going down this path is a lot of people can't afford to do an unpaid apprenticeship. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as an unpaid trades apprenticeship. It doesn't fucking exist. It might have back in the fucking 1800s, but it doesn't right now, okay? I can't speak for every local or every sector of the country, but in Iowa, if you are a first-year apprentice in a smaller town that's the lower paid, our first-year apprentices are making like, I believe, $20 an hour day one with full healthcare coverage and retirement benefits. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. And then every year of the 4-year apprenticeship that you complete, you get a raise. And then once you get your journeyman's license, you get a big raise and you're making like $60 an hour. Quote, or hear me out, you attend and graduate your chosen trade and then enter at top position with top pay. What a dumbass take. No, fuck stick, that's not how that works. You are not going to graduate from a community college and get a journeyman's license and get top pay or anything else. You are qualified to be a first-year apprentice and that's fucking it. You will get paid first apprenticeship wages just like everybody else that has no experience whatsoever. Shut up. This is why I'm making this video, because people that know absolutely fucking nothing about this have extremely strong opinions because they've been just from kindergarten
pissed about
through
idiots on Twitter
into their fucking head that if they don't go to some type of school, they're not going to make a bunch of money. It's not true. It's complete fucking bullshit. And tech schools are sued and go bankrupt and go out of business all the fucking time because they always get in trouble for fraud because they tell these kids, come here, get our certificate, you're going to be qualified to make $100,000 a year, and it very rarely, if ever, fucking happens. I have no reason to lie to you about this, okay? I volunteered to be on the hiring committee for my union because I like helping kids. I loved training apprentices. I would go back to doing it in a heartbeat if this YouTube thing dries up. So again, just so we're on the same page, trade school, tech school, some program at a community college that gives you a certificate or a diploma to be an electrician is not required in any state in the United States of America, and rarely is it helpful. It's more often than not a humongous waste of both your time and your money.
I'm trying to help you.
The only people that I would recommend them to are high school kids that are graduating and know they want to go into trades, but they also want to go get a college experience and party and drink with their friends, and they want to learn something applicable to that, and they just have an understanding of they're not going to be hot shit just because they graduated. Good, great option. If you want to go blow 12 grand, make memories, have the time of your life, awesome. Again, same thing with military veterans. You've been in the military for 4, 6, 8, 10 years and you have a GI Bill that's going to pay for everything and you just want to go off for a couple of years and party and drink and have fun. A great purpose for that too. Just please, for your own good, do not let them convince you that you were going to get this diploma or certificate after 2 years of a community college and you're going to come out making $100,000 a year and that you know as much as a journeyman electrician, because neither of those things are true.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So yeah, sorry this wasn't a normal Fat Electrician or Fat Files video. This is kind of a one-off.
No, this is good though.
As soon as possible. I've just had thousands of people ask me this question, and I'm in a unique position with this platform to get this answer out to as many people as possible.
Once again, though, I just love the fact the whole reason for it is because he got pissed at idiots on Twitter.
Oh yeah. So I think this is a very good guidance video for anyone looking to get into electrical trade.
Yeah.
Definitely helps out and sets some expectations. For anyone that comes across Dako's video, let me break it down a little bit further and give you an idea of what you can expect to run into throughout your journey to becoming an electrician. Here's what's going to happen. I'm also going to explain he's 100% right about don't worry about the diploma, it'll get sorted out, and why you shouldn't have an attitude of I know everything. As a first-year electrician coming in your apprenticeship, and this is coming from someone that ran a company and had to deal with this. When you come in as your first year, every electrician hates getting a first-year apprentice under them. Because all that means is just because there's an extra body doesn't mean the work's going faster.
Yep.
You, as a first-year apprentice, actively slow down the workflow.
Yep.
By almost double, if not more, because we have to stop, explain things to you, stop, make sure that you're still alive, stop, make sure we're giving you stuff to do, double checking on all your work, and we're always under pressure. It's a very profit-driven industry. It's always under pressure. It's very tough to train someone in that condition. And now on top of that, you have to stop every 2 seconds and they know nothing. Even if with all the paperwork, you know nothing. You don't know how to do things right. The tools don't act the way they do, the way college explains it. The little drawings you got and stuff does not look like anything you see in the real world. So I'd say for the first 6 to 8 months of your apprenticeship, you are going to be slowing down the workflow, putting pressure on the electricians. You're going to be costing the company money, and therefore you cannot expect the company to say, well, we're just going to pay you a lot because you got a diploma. That's not how it works. You are actively slowing down and costing the company money. After about 6 to 8 months, you'll probably become reliable enough to be trusted to do the very basic stuff that we've had you do repetitively and babysitted you for ages. And that's generally when apprentices' confidence starts to grow a little bit, when they can actually see things are starting to make sense to them and they feel a bit more comfortable in their skin. And that's what's expected of a first-year apprentice, is to cause us headaches. We have to train them and just to get them to get to a stage where they're confident to do the very basics.
Yep.
In your second year, you're going to have a bit more trust. You're going to be seen as kind of just a little right-hand man to do all the tasks that need to be done while we focus on the more important tasks like connecting boards, tracing circuits, all of that kind of stuff. You will be pulling wires for us. You'll be clipping things down. You'll be terminating sockets and switches, because those are very basic components to terminate, and you'll be trusted to do that with less checkup. You'll still be checked up upon, but you'll be more trusted as a second year. And that's where the pressure will kind of come onto you, because you've had 1 year of training, you've had 1 year of slowing us down and costing us money. Now it's time to start pulling your weight. Once you get through the second year and you enter the third year, you're still not qualified, you're still not knowledgeable, but you are now in a more senior apprentice role where the pressure will be on you to guide some of the younger guys, to give you some experience in training. If you mess up, you will have your head taken off, because you are now expected to be senior, to not make any more mistakes. And you will start integrating with work on the boards and stuff to a minimum level. This is also at that time of your career, you should have hopefully started asking yourself, how do things work internally? How do these components interact with each other? And start thinking about how circuits run, how circuit breakers or fuse boards protect things. And that's at that stage where you can start asking the more elevated questions, because an issue I find a lot with apprentices is they'll come in and they'll want to know how a fuse board works. And I'm sitting thinking, and I tell them, you don't even know how basic switch works. How about figuring that out first?
Small steps, baby steps.
Small steps, because it all builds on each other. In electricity, in the electrical field, I always tell the apprentices, if there's one thing you learn, it's make sure you understand switching. Because if you understand switching, you understand 90% of electrical. Because that's all we do. We allow power to flow through, or we stop it from flowing through. There's a lot of ways to achieve that, but that is the bare bones of electricity. You can do 3 things with power. You can create it, you can transform it, and you can switch it. Those are the only 3 things you can do with power. and switching is the one that you're going to be interacting with the most.
Yep.
So understand how switching works, get your head around that, and if you understand that, then you can kind of get your head around how more complex switches work. And then in your 4th year, you are basically a senior apprentice, which means you should know what you're doing, and you're focusing on refining your skills to the best of its level.
Yeah.
That's basically how your apprenticeship career is going to run with a 4-year apprenticeship. So as a first year, stop asking people, how does this very advanced thing work? Because even if we explain it to you, it's not going to make sense to you, and you're wasting our time more than you already have been. Also, as far as tools go, start with basic gear, because I always see young apprentices thinking that getting the best tools under the sun, getting the tiny tools are going to make people respect you and make your work go faster. It's not. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, and you're annoying us because you just want to talk more about showing off your shiny tool that we're never going to let you use until your 3rd year. Get yourself some screwdrivers, get yourself some pliers, get yourself a side cutter, get yourself a pipe grips, and get yourself a knife, like a Stanley knife, and a little marker and a hacksaw. And that's basically what you're going to need, and a square and a level. That's it. As your basic tools, that's what you're going to need.
Yeah. But it's true. It's true. And this is it. Once again, I still think it's very similar with IT, especially when you're just getting started. Look, there are going to be kids, there are going to be young kids that come in that do know what the heck they're doing. Yeah. But at the same time, you're not going to know everything that we are doing in the shop. Yeah. You're going to know a lot, and yes, it's going to be great, and you might even be able to share some information and whatnot. But you're just not going to know everything that goes on at that location, at that shop. So you have to basically just shut up and listen.
Exactly.
Shut up, listen, learn, and go from there. Like Mech said there, never act like you know everything. Just be a sponge.
Yeah, exactly. Just be a sponge. But we'll also teach you what you need to know. Don't ask us.
Yes. But that was a good.
We'll train you.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll happen. Just anyway, that was a good one though. That was a good video. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like I said, we haven't watched it beforehand. So, but it was good. I enjoyed that. That was really cool. Once again, though, I still find it hilarious that the reason he did it is because he got pissed at idiots on Twitter. But
That'll do it. That'll do it.
That will do it. It was good.
Insights onto it was helpful.
No, it was good. The thing is, like I said, the whole thing. I thought it would be interesting to see your point of view on it as someone outside of the U.S.
Well, it seems like the US has all the same problems and stuff that every other country has when it comes to this stuff. You got people trying to scam you into promising knowledge and money that's realistically not going to happen. There's no such thing as a get-rich quick scheme, and a diploma is not a get-rich-quick thing. It's you got to put in the grind. If you want to get rich quick, invent the next Facebook. There you go.
Yeah, because I mean, it is slightly different, because for IT you definitely want to get your certificates, because then they want you to have those, but they want you to have the hands-on experience as much. And if you don't have one or the other, they're not happy. So
I'd say in IT, the certificates helps get you in the door.
Yes,
but it doesn't help get you the money.
Yes, it doesn't. And then after that, but you still they do have college classes that you can take, but they also did have the trade schools. There was a notorious trade school for IT around here, and of course, it got shut down a while ago because they would promise that as soon as you go through the school, you're just gonna go out there and you're gonna earn the big bucks, and no.
And also, for anyone that thinks that electricians are anti-college, I'll just run you guys through what I had to study to become an electrician. I had to have advanced mathematics. I had to have technical drawings or engineering drawings, both the same thing. One just sounds fancier than the other, but it's the same thing. I had to have trade theory. I had to study industrial electronics, and I had to study engineering science. On top of that, I had to study what in my country, but you guys will have a similar thing, is installation rules, which is basically the laws around how to do electrical installations and what's right, what's wrong. That is basically your Bible of laws in the country. Like I said, I always tell people, anyone can work on electrical. It's not that complicated. But only electricians can do it right, safely, and legally.
Yeah.
Dako, Lizzie, you can go and wire up a socket right now. It's going to be
You
done
can.
right. No, will it work? It will work, but it's also most likely burn down your house. It's not. There's 3 little wires. They're color coded very nicely, and you stick them into a thing that's got a little L, N, and Earth symbol on it. It's not complicated. But to do it right and legally is where your laws come in, and then you got a whole bunch of practical tests as well. But the theory is all of those ones that I said. And that's a couple of years of study.
Yeah. All right. This is a good stopping point for the video. So for those watching in the future on YouTube, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. But for now, let's get out of here. Bye, YouTube.
Later.